evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing? I know it's been a minute. It's been a minute. So how y'all doing? Hey, Mama Quita. Hi. Why you sound like that, Mama Quita?
Because I'm tired.
You tired?
At
You tired?
It's a long
I understand. I feel you. So, we're going to get to the meat and the nitty gritty because I'm tired too. Has been a very long, productive day. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, everybody. If you're in, say hello. Blase blah. The audio is low. Can you hear me now, Stevie Steve?
Hi, Steve.
Uh-oh. Somebody playing with the internet. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. How y'all doing? Welcome to the Wake Bacon Coffee Morning Show. What it do, Stevie Steve? I do know that we are to this nightly edition. This was given to us to bring to the people, to bring to those that are listening, to those that are, because I'm hearing myself twice. That's kind of
Sorry, I'm trying to send out invites.
still very low. Let me move a little closer to the mic, because it sounds loud on our side, and it sounds loud on Quita phone, and it wasn't even turned up that high. And I don't want to be too loud. So, let me just go ahead and get to the meat of this and tell you what I was told to tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we got some decisions to make. I understand how people are feeling. I understand the history. I understand what happened 200 and some odd years ago. But God said you have a choice. You can't serve two masters. You're either going to serve, you're going to love one and hate the other. You can't serve two, love one, hate the other. So, God said it's either him or BLM. Take your pick. Take your choice. I'm not here to choose for you. You got to make this decision on your own. He said you can't love me but yet hate your brother that you see every day. We all know that God is love, God is compassion, God has mercy, God has grace. God has left his holy word here and gave us instructions on how to live, how to treat one another, even how to treat your enemy. For he said vengeance is his. But I guess I can give you a little history on BLM. Michael Brown passed away in 2015, 2014, somewhere around there. This is their claim to fame. But when I went to research BLM, the Black Lives Matter had nothing to do with fighting for black rights. They were mad at their white lesbian counterparts. They felt they wasn't getting as much shine as their white lesbian counterparts. BLM was not an activist group. They were a group that was started by 3 lesbians who wanted black lesbians to be in the forefront. Now, I've heard in the last couple of days they have changed their mission statement. So me being me, I went to go see for myself. And the number one thing that has stuck out to everybody else, which has also stuck out to me, is they want to disrupt, change, do away with the nucleus of the family. And when I say nucleus of the family, that means the father, the mother, and the child. They want to do away with that. Now, the last I checked, that goes against God's whole setup, his whole foundation, his whole creation. So while we in the street screaming Black Lives Matter, while we in the street chanting Black Lives Matter, if you notice, there are a lot of men, but there are more women screaming Black Lives Matter than there are men. From Minneapolis to Atlanta, there are more women in the forefront. There are more women doing more of the speaking. Because of the pull, the lesbian spirit pull that is the foundation of this organization. But God said you got to choose, because his kingdom does not consist of skin color. God has no respect to person, to the point where he even used a donkey. He's used a whale. He's used a giant. So you have a choice to make today. Either we're going to march on God's word, we're going to stand on his word, we're going to stand firm on that, or we can yell, march, scream in the street, we can destroy, we can tear up things, we can burn down statues and all of this other good stuff. Because they just tore down Frederick Douglass. And the last I checked, he was a black dude. But we have some choices to make. And it put me in the mind of listening to Prophet Eli yesterday of Psalms 1. The counsel that we are taking in. We couldn't go to church, but we can march in the street. We can't praise God, but we can march in the street. Oh, there's a pandemic, so you got to stay in the house. But you can march in the street. I told y'all before, please do not allow these people to trick y'all off the street. The scriptures say test the spirit by the spirit. So when you're getting this information, when people are telling you things, when they're hiding hatred in their heart, because that's pretty much what it really is. Because of a lot of the things that are being done will not fix, not solve, not change what happened, and it won't help better the future. So you have a choice to make. Either you're going to serve God or you're going to serve man. But please understand, your time to choose is running out. Your choices are running out. Mama Quita.
You ain't done.
No, but you know, you can jump in anytime. You know. A change is coming. Me and Mama Quita told you this last year. We told you something was coming in 2020. Something came. And then something else came. And it's been told that the hotter it get, the worse it's gonna get outside. And I was like, okay. And to sit back, and every day on the news, the murder rate in our community is going up and up and up and up. The hotter and hotter and hotter it gets. God said, those that are called by my name, if you would just humble yourself and repent and turn from your wicked ways, he will heal the land that you're on. He will heal the land you're in. But by us marching and protesting and rioting and burning and murdering each other, that's not going to solve anything. Only thing that shows is the hatred that you have in your heart. That's all that this is showing. God said you got to make a choice. You're going to have to come all the way in. He said he would spew you out of his mouth being lukewarm. He said he'd rather for you to be all the way hot or all the way cold, but not in between. So you have to pick a side. Choose who you're going to serve this day. And into the city of Atlanta, to the lovely mayor, Miss Keshia Lance Bottoms. First, let me say, I'm sorry to hear of your positive test. I would definitely keep you in my prayers as I pray for you and your city daily. I'm pretty sure you're trying to figure out, why is this happening in your city? Why has this come upon your city? There was hardly any police brutality in this city. There was being a coalition put together that I know for a fact that was bridging the gap between community and police. They met twice a month. But right now, there's a ill demonic stronghold in your city. There are 3 churches on every corner in some of the worst neighborhoods in your city. That means to me that no true deliverance is taking place in these communities. That means that no true prayer is taking place in these communities. But there's 2, 3 churches right across the street from each other. In some of the most impoverished areas in your city. The churches have failed your city. the pastors, the preachers, the teachers, the prophets, the evangelists have failed your city. Because now is not the time to preach prosperity. Now is time for deliverance. It is time for true healing. It is time to truly get in the Word. And as my pastor said this Sunday, you don't have to believe him. Read the Word and get a relationship with God yourself. A lot of churches in your city have been playing church. They have been playing religion. And nobody has a personal relationship. This is why they can say, oh no, we're not going to open our church. But the same ministers are marching down the streets. They are leading the protests that are destroying your city. Another reason why you having these problems in your city, Ms. Bottoms, is because the police feel that you have abandoned them. You have betrayed them. When they was acting and doing their job under your orders, listening to your frustration, listening to the tears that you shared for your city. And yet, at the same time, they feel that you and the DA has left them high and dry by the court of the street with unfairness. And until you establish law and order in the city of Atlanta, there will continue to be lawlessness in your city. And the hotter it gets, the more spirit activity is taking place in your city. Our numbers every day look like Chicago numbers. 4 murdered, 27 shot. 8 shot, 3 murdered. 32 shot, 4 murdered. And all of this took place within 3 days. And in the process, an 8-year-old little girl was gunned down in a car. On your watch, while y'all are secretly on the back door, according to the news, thinking of defunding the police. When you take out righteousness, wickedness will prevail. My message to you, Ms. Bottom, is stop seeking counsel from those that you're sitting at the table with and seek counsel from the Lord. Because I know some of the ministers that you sit at the table with. Because I have sat at a table with them. Our culture. And they are not about Christ. And rarely do I ever hear them speak on Christ. But I always hear them speak on culture. Which takes me back to my first point. God or BLM. God or culture. Ms. Bottoms, I pray for you as you say you pray for our city, but I honestly pray for you daily. Because even though I don't live in your city limits, I have family members that do. I have family members that work in your city limits. I come from the same neighborhood where the Wendy's was burnt down, where the 8-year-old girl was shot, where the gentleman who shot the police with the taser got shot. It's been a desolate community for a long time. It has been a haven, a demonic experience for a long time. And I passed through there today, coming from a funeral. And you can feel the hate, the evilness in the atmosphere. And as I jumped on 75, my uncle was like, why don't you keep straight? Because you can feel it. And you can see it. And they're not out there to uplift the community. They're out there to do wickedness. It's in their faces as you pass by. So Ms. Bottoms, I ask when you seek counsel on how to move. Before you sit down at any table, find your closet, go into a bathroom, and seek the Lord thy God. Seek Jesus Christ. Seek the kingdom of heaven and all its righteousness so it can be added unto you and added into your decisions. Because just as those who are marching, just as those that are in the church have to make a choice between God and BLM, Mayor Bottoms, you have some choices to make on your own. Do not turn your back on the police. Do not defund the police. And it's okay to lay down law and order to get your city back. Because if you don't, it's gonna get worse and worse as time prevails. And August is the hottest month of the year. And they said the hotter it gets, the more spirit activity is going to take place. The question is, what type of spirit activity do you want taking place in your city? Do you want the spirit of wickedness and hate and violence and murder and lust and lies? Or do you want to call on the true Holy Spirit to bring comfort, peace, understanding, healing, deliverance, salvation, everything that you can find in Jesus Christ? So if you want to march for Jesus. If you want to bring your pastors out, tell them to preach the word. Stop dwelling on what happened because you can't change it. But you can prepare and you can decide on how your future will be in the city of Atlanta. You have choices. I would hate to see companies pack up and leave as they did 20 years ago. I would hate to see people pack up and leave as they did 25 years ago. And I would hate for the city to have an ill downfall on your watch. I saw you go from being a judge of second chances, a judge who did righteously, a judge who also laid down the law when need be, to a hard-working city councilwoman, and now a mayor. But please understand, you have some work to do and some cleaning to do. Because please remember, as a city council, there were people that you forgot about. But when it came time to go to the poll, even the people that you forgot about did not forget about you. God raised up leaders and he also pulls them down. That's in the book of Daniel. So I love you, Mayor Bottoms. To the city of Atlanta, I will keep praying for you and your leaders. But right now it's time to make a choice. And that choice is yours. And I'm done.
So, with all that being said, right now we are in a time of the great deception. As we come out of, well, as the seasons change, we look like we were coming out of COVID, coming out of lockdown, but it looks like things are going the opposite way. We have been in this place since March. We had a little breather, and now it looks as if we may be going back because of this pandemic. But as the seasons change, God said this is only the beginnings. Everybody is looking at what's going on. Some are saying we're in the day of Christ. But if you read your word, it says we are only in the beginnings. The beginning of sorrows. Christ is not coming back until the great falling away. Until his word has been heard through every nation. Not some, not a little bit. He said every nation. Right now, there is still in Africa one little bitty tribe that doesn't even have a language. They use sounds that they make with their mouths to communicate. So again, I tell you, we are only at the beginning of sorrows. But the thing is, as the time goes on, false prophets, false preachers, false teachers, false miracle signs, and lying wonders is what we're about to see, because we're in a generation that's looking for miracles and signs and wonders, but they're not looking for God. And they have to be looking for God, because God ain't playing no more. God was talking about the lawlessness. And in Matthew 24, Matthew 24, 5 through 12. It is stated, "For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still not come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places." If y'all haven't been keeping up, was it last week? We had earthquake in Georgia. North Georgia. We had Alabama, California, Mexico. That was just last week. Earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginnings of birth pains. Or in other words, as the King James Version says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death, and you will be hated by all nations because of me. At that time, many will turn away from the faith. That's the great falling away. And will betray and hate each other. And many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. Because of the increase of wickedness, and the love of most will grow cold. That's where we are. Because of the iniquity, the sin, the lawlessness shall abound. Many shall wax cold. The hatred that people have one for another. The Black Lives Matter. All of a sudden, all black folks hate all white folks. It's just all wickedness. But it's all prophecy, which lets us know where we are in our times. 2 Thessalonians 2 2 Thessalonians 2 and sorry, about to read y'all the wrong one. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3 says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." In the International Version, it says, "Don't let anyone deceive you in any way, for that day will not come until the rebellion occurs, and that the man of lawlessness is revealed." And then 7 says, "For the mystery of iniquity," I'm going to read it, "for the secret power of lawlessness is already at work, but the one who now holds it back will continue to do so till he is taken out of the way." 9 through 12 says, "The coming of the lawless one will be in accordance with the work of Satan displayed in all kinds of counterfeit miracles, signs, and wonders, and in every sort of evil that deceives those who are perishing. They perish because they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them powerful delusions so that they will believe the lie, and so that they will all be condemned who have not believed the truth, but have delighted in wickedness." We have been in a world prior to now where everything is do what makes you feel good. Live the life that you feel you want to live, no matter who it affects, no matter what it causes, no matter just however you want to feel, without any perception of taking responsibility for your actions, without any perception of what kind of effect. There's cause and effect. You're the cause, what's the effect? You have people who are angry. Man, there's so many people who are angry, and they are hurting others with their words and their actions. And our churches are supposed to be a place of healing. It's supposed to be a hospital, but many churches have failed. And I'm saying that because we are supposed to be teaching, preaching, spreading the gospel, but not just any gospel. We're supposed to be spreading the gospel of the kingdom. We're supposed to be spreading the gospel of Christ. And we are supposed to be what is the word I'm looking for? We are in charge of deliverance. We are in charge of miracle signs and wonders. That's what being a Christian is all about. That's what Jesus came here for. He came here, gave his life that we should have everlasting life, and that means everyone who has an ear to hear, let them hear and let them respond. Churches are preaching the gospel, but it's the feel-good, emotional messages, and yes, we're moving people to salvation, but we're forgetting the deliverance part. So you've got people who are coming to Christ, but they're still burdened. They're still heavy laden. They're still possessed. Mental torment, oppression. They're still suffering. because we never took them through the deliverance that God ordained us to do. But you're going to baptize them in water, and then you're going to baptize them in fire without even realizing, for some of them, the baptism of fire won't even take place until deliverance takes place first. But a lot of churches don't even have deliverance ministries because a lot of the pastors don't even understand deliverance themselves, because we're afraid to face demons head on. See, for so long I've heard that Christians can't be possessed. That's a lie from the pits of hell. Demons possess parts of you. Their goal is to... It amazes me because Christians say the devil has no power. Well, his power is in sin. Temptation. You have free will. So when you're tempted and you do that sin, guess what? You now open the door to possession. That's just the beginning. Because it is the enemy's ploy and plot to come into your life. Once you've opened the door, he has to get your mind, your will, your emotions, and guess what? Now he has a stronghold. And some of those strongholds are so strong, and it's so intertwined with who you are or your characteristics that even going through deliverance, you're thinking that's a part of you, but no, it's not. There are territorial strongholds, as Anthony was saying, over different areas. One of the biggest ones here in Atlanta is homosexuality. Another one is murder. And the thing is, demons don't run by themselves. They run in packs. So murder also is inclusive of anger, bitterness, rejection, abandonment. A lot of these strongholds are created from traumas in your life that have never been dealt with. So we're getting people saved, but they're still oppressed. We say he who the Son has set free is free indeed. If you never go through deliverance, you're never truly free. So, how are you free? If you still dealing with the same demons. And it's funny because I'm going to use an example of the Masonic Lodge. I know a lot of people ain't going to like this, but I had someone who got saved but was part of a Masonic Lodge. And when confronted with deliverance, he said, well, when I got saved, God took all that away. And that's the belief of a lot of people, that once they are saved, because they have accepted Christ in their life, that the curses and the contracts and agreements that they've made are canceled out. No. Because see, in secret societies, you go through rituals and ceremonies, and within those rituals and ceremonies, you actually create pacts or contracts with the devil, and those things have to be broken. Those are curses now that you have opened up in your life and in your children's lives and your grandchildren's lives, and on and on. God says down to the third and fourth generation, but that's the least of it. And those curses have to be broken. You have to go through inner healing when you've dealt with trauma. You have to go through the inner healing to get the deliverance. That's why so many people are being mentally tormented. They're oppressed, depressed. Can't understand why they're feeling the way that they do. And one day they're in their word, and this is for Christians. You're in your word and you're doing what you're supposed to do, but you can't understand why you're fighting the oppression. Because deliverance was never done. Every time, God gave us free will, so every time we make a choice and open that door, there's a repercussion for it, both physically and spiritually. And spiritually is usually a curse or possession, because see, demons go from generation to generation. So unless you've gone through deliverance, you're still suffering from what grandmama did, or great grandmama did, or great great grandmama did, in addition to what you've done in your life, in the choices that you've made. So our churches have failed us because they're not teaching us. They're not praying like they're supposed to. If no one's teaching us, if no one's praying, if we had churches that were really praying, y'all, we wouldn't have poverty, we wouldn't have murder, we wouldn't have the homosexuality and the sexual immorality. We wouldn't have those things if we really had prayer going on. Real prayer. Spiritual warfare prayer. Because then we would begin to tear down territorial demons in the community, over the communities, in your neighborhoods, over your cities. But again, no one's teaching. I thought I knew about spiritual warfare until I got where I am, and God is opening my eyes that I was fighting the wrong way because I really didn't know how to pray. And the thing is, when you start coming up against spirits, demons, and you don't understand the protocol, and you don't understand the ranking and how the second heavens work, and you don't understand that stuff, you open yourself up to attack. But our churches are not teaching us. They're not training us on how to pray and how to fight, how to truly set people. So guess what? We are still in bondage. We are still oppressed. We are still being mentally tormented. We are still going through bipolar and schizophrenia and all of that stuff. We just, y'all, And a lot of people are afraid when you say the word demons or you say witches and warlocks. Sorry, reality check. Yeah, they're real. And there are lots in the churches. You know why? Because you don't have real intercessory going on in the churches. If you had intercessory ministries and deliverance ministries, guess what? She said she hear echo. Guess what? We would not have witches and warlocks sitting up in each church because they would be spotted out. Prayer would either run them out or prayer would cause them to have to reveal themselves and bring change. But if we're not being taught, all we're being taught is prosperity. And God is going to do this and God is going to do that. And don't get me wrong, God is going to bless. God said he will open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing more than you can ever hold. But there are prereqs to that. There's a prerequisite for everything that God says. You can't just be out here living any kind of life you want and think that the blessings just gonna roll on in. It don't work that way. It doesn't work that way, but I can sit here and say the pastors are failing us and the preachers are failing us, but most of all, we're failing us. Because it's up to us. That pastor don't stand, but well, let me take that back, because he does. He takes an account for every sheep that is up under him. But you still got to stand in front of God, and you got to take an account for what you do. The choices that you have made. He says, study to show thyself approved. And if we were studying our word like we're supposed to, and we were asking God to lead us, just like I asked God for the truth and show me how to pray and how to come up against these spirits and how to bind them and break them. And guess what? He said, if you ask for wisdom and understanding, I'll give it to you. All you gotta do is ask. But we're not looking for that. We're looking for the feel good. We're looking and it's now, since it's social media, we want to hear what we want to hear. So if I don't hear it on this pastor, then I can turn to this pastor. And if I don't hear it from this pastor, I can turn to that pastor. So we church hopping on social media because they ain't saying what you want to hear. It's not about what we want. It's about what God is saying. And in this falling away, he's raising up a remnant who's going to come in strong and mighty. This generation that's coming up behind us, man, I've seen some of the most powerful young people because they're searching God for truth and they're searching God for themselves and their hearts are pouring into him and he's pouring his heart into them. And these old people who are stuck in tradition better come out of it. Because who you looking for God to send is not who he's going to send. When Jesus came, he was with the tax collector. He was with the prostitute. He was with the people that no one wanted to be bothered with. And guess what? The people that are going through now, you know, that one that's all tatted up and pierced, he's out there in the world hard. Guess what? When God gets a hold of his heart, just as hard as he was out there in the world, he's going just as hard for God. If not harder. It's a revival that's coming. And God is not playing with folks. He's taking people out left and right. You better get your heart right. And if you're saved and you want to stop living in hell and not, and then, if you're saved and you want to stop living in hell on earth before you make it to the kingdom, then I suggest that you start asking God to lead you, teach you what's in your family bloodline. What doors have I opened to the enemy? Why is my mind being mentally tormented? Why are my kids going through drug addiction, alcoholism? Why is this still in my family lineage? Somebody got to break it. Why not you? Get in your word and ask God to give you revelation. And then ask him to show you what is your gift in the kingdom. My gift is spiritual warfare. I know this. My gift is spreading the word of Christ. I know this. We're all ministers in our own way. You don't have to be up on the pulpit preaching to be a minister. Every time you talk to somebody about God, whether it's your next door neighbor or somebody you meet at the grocery store, you're ministering to them. But where are you supposed to be in his kingdom? What are you supposed to be doing? But find out about deliverance. Pastors, I ask, I beg of you, if any pastor watches this later on, I beg of you to not allow the enemy to play on your mind, to get in your quiet place with God and ask him to lead you in a deliverance and intercessory ministry in your church. Ask him, where do you start? Because every church needs it. When they come for salvation, deliverance should be the next step. Then baptism of water and fire. So that's all I got for y'all tonight. Steve, you still there?
Miss Erica said they're not praying hard enough. I'm not gonna say they're not praying hard enough. I don't think they know what they need to pray for, or pray about, or pray against. Because a lot of people are praying real hard, but they only asking for material. They're only asking for what they want and not what they can give to the kingdom. Not how they can be a beneficial to the kingdom.
What's your question, Steve? And it is that people really don't understand what they're supposed to be praying or how they're supposed to be praying. And honestly, there's no right way of praying, right or wrong way to pray. It's communication with God. But at some point, you got to come off of milk and get to the meat. at some point, you got to come off of milk and get to the meat. Okay, I'm kind of scared to ask this question, but you listen to the both of our words about what, Stevie Steve? Like how the freak you been? Huh?
We've been great.
Oh,
Blessed and highly favored.
Sorry.
We've been great.
Excuse me. We've been good, Stevie Steve. I'm sorry. Today it was a long day. Literally this is the longest day I've had it since the last 2 months. So, I'm sorry if I didn't come on here exactly ecstatic today.
Yeah. My apologies. This has been a long week. I've had 2 funerals.
Excuse me.
So, one Friday, one today. So it's been trying. So,
but God is still in control, as you can see. God is definitely still in control, and we will be back on the show, getting back up and running. We done took a long, what's the word? A long
break.
I don't want to say break. I don't want to say vacate. We took a long
leave of absence. Leave of absence. That word, leave of absence. We got some things to take care of first.
Yeah, like what you said. We thank you. The new setup. He said he likes the new setup.
Thank you, Miss Erica. So yeah, I had to take care of some business. We had to get some things straight first, and then once we got those straight, then now we can get back into the ministry and
do what needs to be done.
So thank you, Miss Erica.
Yeah. So that's how we been. How y'all been?
Right.
Everything been all right? Been good? Did anyone get married during the vacation virus?
Did anyone get married during the vacation virus? Well, I can't lie on here, Stevie Steve, because this ain't my show. I don't think that God will want me to lie.
I ain't cough. I ain't big coughing. All of a sudden, I got this cough. So yes, Stevie Steve, yes, someone did get married.
Yeah, I know somebody who got married
during the vacation virus.
During the vacation virus.
Oh, I didn't get right.
I don't know why they didn't invite you. Married, yes. Who?
With the condolences, did I miss something?
Yeah,
yeah, we had 2 funerals this week.
I had 2 funerals.
She said, "Don't lie."
I had 2 funerals this week, Stevie Steve. My aunt and my grandmother passed away like a day apart. So one was on Friday, and my grandmother's was Friday, and my aunt's funeral was today. So it's been trying. Now, Miss Erica, I don't lie. I keep my mouth closed before I tell you a lie. And we didn't know. We didn't know. Rumor is in New York someone got married.
Where that rumor come from?
I don't know about no rumors.
Well, someone did get married. We can't lie. Someone did get married, and maybe you didn't get invited because of the COVID. So. Right.
So maybe
that's why.
Maybe they didn't invite people because, what you call it, the vacation virus. So, thank you, Stevie Steve. So, maybe they might do it again. And then maybe you'll get invited that time. Maybe they having another one down the road. You know, maybe.
Thank you, thank you, Miss Mills.
I appreciate it. You know, we went from condolences to congratulations. See how quickly God moved through this show? People go from sad to happy all the time. Listen, God be moving real quick through this show. But thank you, Miss Mills. Yeah, it had to be small. You'll get an invitation when everybody can come outside. 167 Grand Concourse
is where I heard this.
Well, I haven't been on 167th Street in a long time.
God is listening. Yes, He is. I'm sorry, y'all.
You need some water?
I'm gonna go make me a
good tea.
Yeah, ginger root tea. Yeah. So yeah, that's how we been. Nobody has answered us. How y'all been? Neither one of y'all just kind of skipped over that question to what we was talking about.
Yeah. So how y'all been making it out? What you call it, Stevie Steve and the vacation virus?
Right. Miss Mills, I saw you vacationing before the vacation virus. You was having fun.
Right.
She said I will wear my mask.
Well, okay, so it's November.
Yep.
We see you in November.
Sometime in November. Yeah.
Have a big shebang for everybody.
Congrats to whoever got married. I am Miss Mills. I'm gonna drink me a ginger tea. I don't know where this came from. It just kind of caught me off guard. But anywho, thank you, Stevie Steve. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But Stevie Steve, you and Miss Erica still ain't told us how y'all been in this vacation virus. Because I see Stevie Steve hanging out in the Bronx, so I see that for you to be on the 167 in the Grand Concourse. It's my old stomping ground. Not you from Queens, Stevie Steve? That's a long way from home. But it's been a pleasure. It feels good to be back.
It does. It does.
We got some more word for you.
We got a lot of word for you. It's going to be a little different. It's definitely going to be a little different.
Right.
I'm good so far. Okay. Cool beans.
That's good.
Y'all know I'm trying to get this weight off. Ooh, Miss Mills, let me tell you a secret. So, since January up until now, I lost about 40 pounds. And it came from in January, our pastor had us do a plant-based diet for 30 days. In them 30 days, I lost 15 pounds. And it wasn't that hard.
That's all she do.
She said, eating too much cakes and pies, Lord.
What happened to the weekly, the once a week, no meat? No meat for the week.
He said, I heard the other room on 169.
And
Jamaica.
See, yeah, that sounds like getting next to the woods. Well, you might have heard right. Gotta leave that sugar, them cakes and pies alone.
I'm trying to figure out. I did that for 60 days before. Beyond Meat is the best. I'm not touching that stuff. I don't touch that Beyond Meat stuff.
What's that?
That's that fake meat.
Oh, no.
It's supposed to be. I don't trust it. I'm good.
If it ain't cow, buffalo, deer, lamb, out of the water. Oh.
Did it work for you, Miss Mills, if you did it for 60 days? Because I'm trying to figure out how to stop this from happening, because I'm still losing. My appetite has totally changed. I don't eat cakes and pies and sweets. I have no taste, no crave for.
Because I got it.
Oh, Lord.
She losing, I'm gaining.
Too much veggie. Oh, yep, the bread will do it. About that. Sorry.
That got it.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
The bread would do it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, guys, it's 9:30. We love y'all. We will, are we coming on tomorrow?
You know what? Just because y'all been missing us, I'm going to make an effort to try to be here at 10 in the morning. I ain't going to make you no promises.
Oh, shit.
Right. I remember that. That's when Steve got sick. Leave that meat alone.
Oh, wow.
Just do strictly vegetables, no bread, no sugar. What we did? No bread, no sugar, no meat. And we just did water, fruits, nuts, and vegetables.
Or anything that were made out of plant-based.
Or anything that comes from the ground naturally.
One of my favorite meals was a nacho supreme.
Because all of that came from the ground. The cheese come from the ground.
The cheese does not come from the ground. Tell them lies.
No.
I did eat the cheese though. I couldn't give up the cheese, y'all. I couldn't give up the cheese.
So I'm gonna try to be here by 10ish.
She said she gonna try and wake up. Okay.
Lord willing, you will. So we'll try to be here by 10ish. 10 o'clock.
You noticed no petition.
And I was gonna say thank you.
We did notice. Because y'all was talking about it, but y'all didn't do it. So we did notice.
I thank you for no petition. You know, I've been working real hard. Trust me, Steve, I kind of been like halfway in school, halfway in training. It's been a lot. So now we can come back and kind of coast a little bit and focus on the show. Shame on you with the cheese.
I tried, Miss Erica. I tried. It just wasn't working, and I just couldn't give up the cheese. I'm sorry. The cheese just makes everything taste better. But I stuck with everything else. Cheese from the ground, where that letter, no.
Wisconsin.
No. Lies he tells.
Don't the cows eat grass? They eat green grass and make white milk, which makes yellow cheese. See? From the ground. See?
Oh, okay. All right. He brought that full circle for y'all. He brought that full circle. I don't know.
Cheese from the eat grass, produce milk, spin it around, make some cheese. Look at that.
Oh Lord, I don't know what to say about this right here.
I mean, because to tell you on the thing, you know, bread-fed cows. So
well, I'm glad that you all have not gone anywhere. We will be getting back on a regular schedule. So good to see you guys also.
Yeah.
Why we what? Look at the screen.
Oh. Well, you know, Facebook always moves slow.
Alright, there we go. No, we were moving like in
slow-mo?
Yeah. Okay. Well, good to see you guys also. We love y'all, and we'll see y'all in the morning.
We gone.